So there are multiple reasons right now as to why Snow White 2025 is universally rejected. The biggest thing of all has a lot to do with how insufferable Rachel Zegler truly is. The other aspect is how Disney doubled down on their agenda with DEI and all of that nonsense being spewed all over this Snow White new film that really kind of changes the source material, changes the entire original tales by the Brothers Grimm, the 37 original, to making it into a movie about saving society. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, the Rachel Zegler drama continues and it's only getting worse over time because, well, there's a lot of issues going on not just between herself and Gal, but also between herself and the Disney executives, also specifically the CEO Bob Iger. We all know that he's trying to create a name for himself before he steps down next year in 2026. And I don't think he's going to create a name for himself in a positive light because almost every single release by Disney so far has been a failure, one after the other, whether it's a box office failure or a ratings disaster. Doesn't matter, we've been seeing this time and time again. But focusing on the Zegler situation, this is where things begin to truly go out of control for the Walt Disney Company, and they pretty much are boxed into a corner, right? They really have no escape at this point. They can't cancel the movie, it's too late for that. Their marketing campaign, they really doubled down on that as well, by spending tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, if you really add up the budget of the film mixed with the marketing campaign. This movie cost them a ton of money. However, to top things off here with everything else aside, with the Snow White backlash only getting worse as it nears its debut on the 21st, one significant development that is now active involves more to do with Rachel Zegler and how Disney recently took serious action against Zegler in a desperate move to save their image before Bob Iger plans to step down in 26. Now, one major action that was finalized after many revisions now officially involves how Rachel Zegler was indeed fired by the Walt Disney Company entirely from all projects that were in conversation near a contract deal. It turns out that Disney was previously in talks to bring in Rachel Zegler to portray a race-swapped version of a popular X-Men character for their upcoming X-Men film and projects surrounding the X-Men in general for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Not only was Rachel booted from those projects that was near finalized for a contract deal that would extend for Rachel by 5 whole years, but also Zegler was supposed to do voiceover work for a brand new character in Toy Story 5. That reportedly was set in stone. She was also fired from this new project as well, since she was of course already cast for the role of a character codenamed Spiral for Toy Story 5. Now, the firing of Zegler comes after Zegler created more issues behind the scenes toward the Disney executives, claiming that they broke her contract deal by canceling all of her events dressed up as Snow White, where she was supposed to sing at places like Times Square, Las Vegas, Disneyland, and World, and so much more. The canceled events added up to a total of, get this, $20.1 million, if you really want to boil down the exact numbers there, that was lost for Disney. In addition to the Zegler, was also just about to land another major Disney role. Another project that she was actually booted from was going to be a new spy thriller film that Disney is creating that is planning to compete against Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible franchise and to start a franchise like that of their own, with a more lighthearted tone, of course. Now, Zegler was also booted from that project after the Snow White controversy, especially her issues with Gal Gadot created more drama behind the scenes and in the public eye. Now, get this, however, there are still executives that are in full favor of Rachel Zegler, begging for Bob Iger to reverse this type of action against Zegler, since they believe that she is a true upcoming actress that holds potential. However, most of the executives believe that she is not only difficult to work with, but poses as a great risk for wrecking the Disney image, or whatever is left of that image now in 2025. Now, guys, let me just stop here for one moment. We all know that Rachel was supposed to be in so many projects affiliated with the Walt Disney Company. We talked about this lightly about, I would say, 6 to 8 months ago, where she was supposed to be in the Pirates of the Caribbean remake. That never panned out. That actually just failed miserably for her part because of all the Snow White drama. And now you're beginning to see all these projects by Disney just booting Zegler one after the other. It seems like that Zegler was really trying to stick to one studio and to expand her overall reach by really incorporating herself within Disney to really kind of get toward Disney fans specifically, and it's not going to work, especially after Snow White. And the ticket sales, the pre-ticket sales, they are not selling, period. I mean, they are doing an abysmal, performance right now when it comes to the sales figures of the ticket sales, right? But what's interesting about this, again, is the fact that you have someone like Bob Iger who is trying to fix his image as a CEO. He is willing to do whatever is possible to basically build up this legacy of himself. Meanwhile, the only legacy that he's going to leave behind once he does step down next year, and he does still plan on doing so, the only legacy he will be creating is that he was a CEO that literally destroyed multiple brands. We're talking about Star Wars, Marvel, and even destroyed some of the Disney animated classics that were converted to live action, right? We all saw what happened with The Little Mermaid, and now Snow White, and among others out there that were done in the past. But I digress again here. This is what's really interesting, is that to actually top things off from that, Rachel's firing from these projects by Disney is an end result from the drama that she created for herself with Snow White, and just how this film is losing money. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in their marketing campaign. Bob Iger, the Disney CEO, is already planning to make a statement soon in regards to the Snow White drama and to the actual backlash surrounding Rachel Zegler to kickstart damage control over the film, and a desperate move to divert attention away from Zegler. Now, Zegler is also very much outraged over how Disney scaled back on a massive level for their US premiere for Snow White, where very little questions will be allowed to be asked about the film and the backlash it created. So, look at this in a different light. Not only did they cancel the UK premiere, if you look at the US premiere, they're scaling back on that completely. Usually you have a nice red carpet debut, you have a lot of outlets, trades, asking questions about a movie as massive as this, box office wise, or budget wise I should say, that would be expected to do well at the box office, given that this is a character embedded in pop culture. It is completely flipped upside down right now because of politics, because of their forced agenda that they obviously could have withdrawn from, but they decided not to. But this is where it's interesting yet again, is the fact that not only are they not allowing certain questions to be asked, they are actually banning specific trades from actually going to the premiere for Snow White, and from not even allowing them to actually film the US premiere. So this is really interesting, the fact that it's going to seem like the premiere for Snow White could very well come across as non-existent to the public eye because of how much they're going to keep this more or less of a private event as opposed to a public event, right? So that's another thing to really take into consideration here, is that Disney is doing whatever it takes. They are willing to do whatever it takes to just keep Rachel Zegler off camera, to also keep Snow White off camera, event-wise, and to really just get this thing done and over with and put it in the rearview mirror and do something else, later down the road. I think that this could ultimately really just tarnish their overall plans for doing other live-action remakes. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.